US President Donald Trump said the war in Iran is, quote, very close to over.
Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni reiterated her disapproval of the war in Iran after Trump accused her of lacking courage for not joining.
A 58-year-old Parisian engineer is the proud owner of an original Picasso painting after entering a raffle with a €100 ticket.
I had to divert, because if I didn't do that...
US President Donald Trump said the war in Iran is, quote, very close to over. Trump's statement comes as the ceasefire that is set to expire on the 22nd of April remains on shaky ground. The United States is pressing ahead with its blockade on Iranian ports, while Tehran issued fresh threats in response. Nonetheless, officials said they were making progress on talks, and mediators said on Wednesday they moved closer to extend the ceasefire between Washington and Tehran. Negotiators are focusing on three key points that derailed last weekend's talks, including Iran's nuclear program, the Strait of Hormuz, and compensation for wartime damages. Despite the fragile truce, oil prices fell on Wednesday and US stocks rose in hopes of an end to the war. Meanwhile, Israel continued its aerial and ground war on Iran-backed Hezbollah in Lebanon. The attacks come just after Israel and Lebanon held their first direct talks in decades in Washington.
In the wake of Donald Trump's attacks on Giorgia Meloni, Palazzo Chigi is trying to play down the blow. It's not the end of the world. We've simply said what we think, government sources say. But the rift has been clear-cut, with the US president describing himself as shocked by Meloni's stance in solidarity with the Pope. Donald Trump had described the Pope as weak and terrible at foreign policy.
La situazione internazionale è una situazione che bisogna continuare sulla quale bisogna continuare a lavorare per mandare avanti i negoziati di pace, fare ogni sforzo possibile per stabilizzare la situazione e riaprire lo stretto, che per noi è fondamentale, chiaramente non solo per i carburanti ma anche per i fertilizzanti, altro elemento fondamentale per il settore del quale parliamo oggi.
Prior to the criticism, the Prime Minister had reiterated Italy's commitment to peace in the Middle East.
Il rapporto dell'Italia con gli Stati Uniti è un rapporto che va avanti da qualche anno, no? E non riguarda il singolo governo. Noi cerchiamo di fare il nostro meglio, chiaramente a contesto dato, considerando gli Stati Uniti un nostro alleato strategico e prioritario, però quando si è amici e quando si ha degli alleati, particolarmente se sono strategici, bisogna anche avere il coraggio di dire quando non si è d'accordo, che è quello che io faccio ogni giorno. Quando sono d'accordo dico di essere d'accordo, e quando non sono d'accordo dico di non essere d'accordo, perché credo che questo faccia bene all'Europa, agli Stati Uniti e all'Occidente in generale.
Following Trump's attacks, Meloni simply reiterated the point: being allies does not mean being subject. She declared.
The International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, says very detailed measures to verify Iran's nuclear activities must be included in a potential US-Iran agreement to end their war. Speaking on Wednesday in South Korea, the director of the UN's nuclear watchdog, Rafael Grossi, stressed that Iran has an ambitious nuclear program requiring checks.
All of that will require the presence of IAEA inspectors. Otherwise, you will not have an agreement. You will have an illusion of an agreement. So I am certain that we will be required and asked, when the parties come to an agreement, hopefully, to provide the indispensable safeguard verification component of the agreement.
Grossi's comments come as Iran has not allowed the IAEA access to its nuclear facilities bombed by Israel and the US during the 12-day war in June. His comments also comes as an initial round of face-to-face talks in Pakistan between senior US and Iranian officials failed to produce an agreement last weekend. The Trump administration has said that preventing Iran from gaining a nuclear weapon is a key war aim, but Iran has long insisted it isn't developing such weapons and its program is peaceful. 3 days after his party's landslide election victory, Peter Mayer says he has called for an early transfer of power as soon as possible during talks with Hungary's president, Tamás Sullyok. Speaking at a press conference in front of the presidential palace, Mayer told reporters he wanted the inaugural meeting of the new National Assembly to be held on the 4th of May, the day that official election results are expected to be released.
Abban maradtunk, hogy az elnök úr ennél korábban a lehető legkorábbi időpontra fogja összehívni az alakulóülést. Ő is úgy gondolja, és szerintem mindenki úgy gondolja, hogy a magyar nemzet érdeke, hogy egy ilyen erős választói felhatalmazás után a lehető leggyorsabban megtörténjen a kormányváltás és egyben rendszerváltás is. Elmondtam neki, hogy ha nem távozik önként a hivatalából, akkor élni fogunk a választóktól kapott felhatalmazással és alaptörvény módosítással és a szükséges módosításokkal el fogjuk távolítani a hivatalából őt is és az összes többi bábot, akit az Orbán rendszer nevezett ki a helyére, legyen szó legfőbb ügyészről, vagy éppen az Alkotmánybíróság elnökéről. Elnök úr sejtelmes választ adott erre a felvetésemre, azt mondta, hogy ő is természetesen szeretné megőrizni a jogállamot, Magyarország külföldi kifele történő reputációját és hírnevét, megfontolja, azt mondta elnök úr, a felhozott érveimet a távozásával kapcsolatban.
Maria, over 2 years, attracted a cross-section of public support his Tisza party, which swept the ruling Fidesz from power on Sunday.
Magyar Péter a Sándor-palotához egyenesen a közmédiából érkezett, ahol másfél év után először volt vendég, előbb a Kossuth Rádióban, majd pedig az M1-en. Mindkét stúdióban elmondta, hogy amint kormányra kerülnek, ideiglenesen leállítják a közmédia hírszolgáltatását. Kónya Rita, Euronews, Budapest.
The EU's age verification app for online platform is technically ready and will soon be rolled out, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said Wednesday, as a growing number of countries push ahead with plans to curb social media access for younger users.
You download the app, you set it up with your passport or your ID card, you then prove your age when accessing online services. Second, it respects the highest privacy standards in the world. Users will prove their age without revealing any other personal information. Put simply, it's completely anonymous. Users cannot be tracked. Third, the app works on any device, phone, tablet, computer, you name it.
European officials have warned children are increasingly exposed to harmful content online, citing cyberbullying and addictive features designed to maximize engagement as examples. Officials said the aim is to develop a single EU-wide system, avoiding a patchwork of national approaches. However, they did not provide a timeline for when the system will be fully deployed across the bloc, nor did they announce whether platforms will be required to adopt it. The move is aimed at major platforms such as TikTok, Meta's Facebook and Instagram, and Snapchat, which have clashed with Brussels' Digital Services Act over child safety and addictive design.
A 58-year-old Parisian engineer is the proud owner of an original Picasso painting after entering a raffle with a €100 ticket. The charity raffle in Paris offers participants to win a work by Pablo Picasso for the price of a single ticket, all while raising funds for Alzheimer's research.
Ça se raccroche à deux choses qui sont importantes pour moi, à la fois de faire une bonne action pour votre campagne sur Alzheimer, et puis ensuite parce que je suis passionné d'art et en particulier de peinture, donc forcément un tableau de Picasso, oui.
Donc vous m'avez dit.
A total of 120,000 tickets were sold at €100 each, raising €12 million. Of that total, €1 million will go to the Opera Gallery, which owns the painting, and the remaining funds will support medical research through the Alzheimer Research Foundation.
The raffle went crazy actually because we sold all the tickets this morning. Before 10 o'clock Paris time, we were sold out. We had to shut down the site, and we stopped selling because we had no more tickets.
The organisers held the raffle twice before, once in 2013 and another in 2020. The two previous raffles had raised more than 10 million euros combined, funding cultural initiatives in Lebanon as well as water and hygiene programs in parts of Africa.
A new flotilla mission with around 40 boats has set sail for Gaza from Barcelona on Wednesday in a fresh bid to break the Israeli blockade and deliver aid to the region. According to the organizers of the global Summit flotilla, 20 more boats from France and 4 more from Italy will join the convoy on April 24 with a week-long stopover in Sicily for a non-violence training. Summit, which means resilience in Arabic, aims to rally hundreds of pro-Palestinian activists from dozens of countries. The ships in the flotilla are mostly sailboats. In late 2025, an initial flotilla of about 50 boats, composed of political figures and activists such as Sweden's Greta Thunberg, was boarded by Israeli Navy in international waters, which was an illegal action according to Amnesty International. Israel, on the other hand, invokes Article 51 of the UN Charter, asserting that the blockade and naval intervention are necessary measures to prevent the smuggling of weapons and dual-use materials. The Gaza Strip, governed by Hamas, has been under an Israeli blockade since 2007. The sides accuse each other of violating a ceasefire that came into effect on October 10, 2025, after 2 years of war.